What's up, everybody? Jeg's Garage here. Today we are going to be getting one step closer to being finished with the Suburban project. Starting this video off with this lovely view. I actually got started already. I apologize, I forgot to grab some video, but I've started removing my temporary testing wiring to make room for the solution that finally showed up. FedEx finally got their act together and got me my parts. But you can see I had quite a bit. Here is my fuel pump relay that I just kind of wired up. That goes over there on the floor. A couple other odds and ends I got to pull out of here, like these random fuse blocks that I kind of wired in just to have some protection on the circuit. I'm going to show you in a second here what my fuse panel is going to look like, and I believe some other things I have to do. I'll have to pull the bulkhead back out again, which might actually work out because I do have to wire to the fuel pump wire, which is part of the bulkhead still. I need to take all this right here, which is all of my ignition hots, all my battery constants, my fan controls, my fuel pump controls, my grounds, and I need to wire this more permanently so that it works every time and I don't have a problem. The other thing I have to do is I have to figure that what I'm going to do here. So for the alternator to charge, this is a DR44, which is a 4-pin from the 2012 GMC Savannah van. It is a 4-pin. It's got the PLIFS connector on the back. I had to hook up switch 12 volts to the L terminal, and it had to be through a bulb, so I just got this like random 194 bulb. So it goes switch 12 volts to one side of the bulb, out of the bulb, into the L. You turn the key on, the light lights up. You start the truck, the light goes off, and the alternator is excited and it's charging. There's a second wire on here that on this plug is in the IF position, and originally I had that hooked up to switch 12 volts and it wasn't charging, and I've read that you can do that and it'll charge, but that didn't work for my case. I had to go off the L with the bulb. But what's happening is it's dropping down to 13.8 with after it's running for a little bit with accessories on, and it won't charge back at 14 like it is. So these are supposed to also have internal sensing, which I don't know because this one isn't acting like a lot of the write-ups. There's a fourth terminal, the S terminal, that is the sensor, and I think I'm going to repin this and hook that up to the S and just give that a test. I think I'll be fine because it doesn't drop below like 13.8, 13.7. I don't have a lot of electrical equipment in this rig yet. At least I don't have stereo equipment or anything, but that's just something to be aware of with that. Otherwise, everything else is ready to go here. Let's go take a look at the relay. I just want to show you one thing. I did make some patch panels for the holes, the old ECM holes and the old wiring holes and the throttle cable hole. That blue tape you see is just little holders I got, and I basically cut them out of ABS plastic and then glued them in place with RTV because they're going to be leak free. It'll keep the animals out, and maybe someday I'll get grommets or something, or I'll weld it up someday if I ever take this back apart. I should have welded them up, but I didn't know where I was going to send my wires through. That being said, here is my solution for the relay center. I just got this yesterday. I'm very excited. I'm very happy with it. Let me pop you on the tripod so it's easier to show you. Okay, so this is the, see more wires. This is the fuse relay box you get from Harness Works. It is a, pretty sure it's an LT1 F-body fuse relay center. And he reworks it. He completely puts all new wires in it. And what I did was I sent him a printout. I typed it up with all of my circuits, every single circuit that I had to give power to that got switched constant, what my fan wire colors were, fuel pump wire, all that stuff. I just gave it to him. And not only did he label everything, but he color matched it, which is just, it's awesome. Because for me to do that myself, I wouldn't have been able to, because how am I going to get different gauge wires and different colors just for this small application? So this large loom here, which is actually my only complaint about this has the fan wires on there. And I was able to incorporate a lot of relays into this box. I'll show you in a second. But this has the LT1 fans on there ready to go. My only complaint is he used a huge loom for these 4 wires. And the issue is the holders on the fan shroud, the little plastic holders are not, they're not big enough. So I might have to reloom this with, at least in the section that hits the fan, maybe like this, and tie it together. Something that'll snap into that. I think this might be all I have of the appropriate size, but that's my only complaint. So nice heavy gauge wires for the fans. Coming out of here, I give ground. I got a nice spot to ground this. I have, so with his bulkhead, he gives you a big fat constant and a big fat switched. So that's where these get hooked up to. He's got a PCM battery feed. He's got a TCM battery feed, I think. Yep. Again, these are all color coded, red with white stripe. It's perfect. All my pinks, I know where they got to go. I believe, yeah, high fan, low fan. Again, they match my colors. My fuel pump is brown. He hooked up some AC wiring for me, which I'm not going to be using right away. Basically, I have an AC relay in here, and I also had him hook up an AC override for the fans. So since the Gen 4 PCM can't control the AC, I'm reading lots of mixed solutions for how to get the fans to kick on with the AC. Some say you can use a what do you call it, a trinary switch. This is going to ensure that anytime my AC compressor clutch gets 12 volts, my fans are going to kick on low and run on low as long as the AC is on. So this works. So anyway, here we have the inside of the box. You'll notice it's almost completely full. There's 2 spots open. He does have terminals on one side of this, so I believe I can add the circuits if I want. That was pretty cool if that's what happened. I didn't actually ask him. And the other really nice thing that he does is he makes a custom label, which is going to be kind of hard for you to see, but I'll try to help see it. There, can you see that? So you'll see I have fan 1, 2, and 3 relays. Fan 1, 2, and 3 relays. I have the override relay. I got one for the clutch, one for the fuel pump, and he put on my fuel injectors and ignition coils on relays. He probably didn't have to do that, but it's just nice to have clean power going to all that stuff instead of going through the extra fuses. Everything is fused. Oh, excuse me, it was a long night. Everything's fused properly. 40 amps for the dual fans. I got fuel pump fuses. So yeah, nice cover. As far as mounting this, I'm not 100% sure. I made a sketch of the bracket. That's how the on the LT1 car, this is basically part of the engine bay, and this bracket kind of slides in, kind of clicks into place. So I might try to mimic that. That's a lot of work. I might also just run some screws down through this plastic part and call it a day. So I'm not going to take a whole lot of video of me trying to figure that stuff out, because there's going to be a lot of me scratching my head and trying to work with what I have and possibly redoing some stuff. But I will take some shots either along the way or at least when I'm finished, so you can see how I made out. Again, most of this is just self-explanatory. If you talk to Jabin over on Harness Works, he'll hook you up with whatever you need. It's a little spendy, but considering what I was going to try to do with the Astrovan fuse box, this is way, way nicer. If it weren't for FedEx's delay in delivery, this would have been, I'd have been done by now. So anyway, let's get started on this and see what we come up with. Okay, here's where I left off yesterday. I had to do some family stuff since it was New Year's Eve. I got a good bit of it wired. Actually, the more pain in the butt connections I got wired up, that would be the injector wires, where I had to go from 8 wires down to the single feed, and a couple of the other ones that had several wires on it. What's left is I need to hook up my fans, my fuel pump, and I'm probably going to hook the AC stuff up, but again, I'm not ready for it yet. I got to hook up my main power wires, my starter wire, run my my oil pressure line down to the sender, and I'm good. This light, I might just leave it like this for now till I can come up with a better. I feel like I'm rushing the solution, and I don't want to do that. I want this to work nicely. So we'll see what I end up doing there. But I did make this cool bracket. So the ECM, I'm using the ECM mount, and it bolts to this steel bracket that I made. And you see these holes that are cut out. They match the. I can show you on this other bracket here. This is another LT1 bracket. This is what's on the bottom of this box. But basically, you just put this in place, and you slide it forward, and it snaps into place, and that's where it's going to sit. And then to release it, you have this tab here that you release, push, and it pops out. It actually works quite well, and that will keep this whole thing serviceable. So I'll be able to pop that off and move it, remove the brackets and the harness, and if I ever need to work on it, which hopefully I don't. So today I'm going to get back on it. I'm going to finish soldering up the wires, heat shrinking everything, then this whole portion is going to get wrapped and probably tubed. See what I have for that, and then I have to route wiring for the fans too and get that plugged in. So let's get to it. I want to get this thing running today and be done. Okay guys, here's the finished product. Try to use my light here, help a little bit. So I'll start over here at the bulkhead. I'll kind of work my way back. So the bulkhead, all my major wires I ran through weather pack connectors so that I can disconnect pretty much all of the harness. If I wanted to remove the engine harness, I could. The relay box at this point would have to go with it because I soldered and heat shrank all of my engine power feeds and sensor or power feeds and all that stuff are in here. My starter wire is right here. My switch 12 volt, my constant 12 volt, my fuel pump, my AC turn on because that goes through this box. That's going over to the original AC system. So now when I turn my HVAC or my AC on, power comes out, goes through the low pressure switch, and assuming it passes, it'll come back up through here and down into here to power the relay, which will then power the compressor. The fans are on these big, fat, nice, heavy wires. They go over to the fans. I tested those. Those work perfect. I haven't tested if they come on at the right temperatures yet because I haven't been able to drive it or get it up to temperature enough to test it. But here's how the relay box mounted. As you can see, it's pretty tidy. I mean, this isn't a show truck. Everything on this thing is very exposed and very much how I want it. I want to be able to surface it. You can see the main loom is just coming up and under and just kind of going up underneath the master cylinder. It actually doesn't move much. It's secured there. I might throw a zip tie on at the booster, but we'll see. Another thing I did was I left all the wire labels on. I'll have to go through and throw a piece of tape over here, but you can see them poking out. I left all my wire labels on because if I ever have to take this apart, I'll be able to figure that out much easier. Relay box, you can take a look at that one more time. I think I may have shown it, but just like a factory car, pop that off. There's my relays. It was just worked out really well. The bracket that I made worked well. It just slides right on, and if you ever want to remove it, you just push this tab and the whole thing slides back. So it's pretty cool. It worked out quite well. That's really all I have to show. I'll show you that it fires up. One thing I did do was, so you'll see this orange light just kind of strapped up here off the alternator. So as I mentioned before, I had to run switch 12 volt through a bulb into the L terminal of the alternator for it to charge. Well, I don't have a spot in my dash for a dummy light, so I wasn't able to wire into that, unfortunately. And I just don't really need to see it. My thing is if it ever stops charging, I'll just pop the hood, and if that light's on, I got a problem with the alternator. That's pretty much how that's going to work. So I just have it kind of neatly taped and it's zip tied there, and that's where it's going to live. It's just a little socket, 194 socket. So fires right up, lights out, so that's good. Everything's running right. Got no check engine light. Got good oil pressure. Got good charging. Everything's working. It idles. Idle will settle down right around 600, I guess, for the in park or whatever. But yeah, she sounds good. Give it a little rev. Yeah, works good. So that's it for the wiring. I'm done. The only things left to do on this rig now are to get a new AC compressor, mount it, make my lines. I do have a fuel pressure bleed down issue, which I'm going to address. I don't know whether I have a leaky injector. My suspicion is that the little connector hose in the fuel tank is leaking. So I got to find some time to get in there and pull that off. I don't know whether I'm going to pull the rails off and check for a leaky injector, or if I'm going to do that first to figure out which one's easier. But it's got constant fuel pressure while driving and under load, so I'm really just not going to worry about it right now. I don't think so. But that's it. She's ready to go. I'm going to drive it and put some miles on it and decide if I'm going to do exhaust. I do want to do a brake upgrade on this thing, because now that I have exponentially more power than I did before, I'm having some trouble stopping what I would consider to be safely. It's not that the total speed is any different than when it was before it was swapped, but it just between curves, between stoplight to stoplight, it just gets up to speed so fast now that I'm back on the brakes real quick. So I need to look into what I can do about that. But that's it for now. If you have any questions, let me know. If you want to see anything that I did more closely, let me know. I'll take some more videos. Otherwise, thanks for watching.